everybody, I'm Merisu the Art Sheep, and thank you so much for checking out this video. And today I'm celebrating 700 subscribers. Yay! Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Anytime someone subscribes to my channel, comments on my artwork, shares my artwork, it all means a lot. And I've been stuck at around 630 for a long time. One reason why was because anytime it would go up to about 650, and then I guess I must have did something stupid and it would go back down to about 630, and actually ping pong back and forth between those numbers for a long time. I don't know the exact date because I didn't keep track of it. I didn't even celebrate my 600 subscribers, which is kind of weird. If I did mention, it was just in passing. I didn't do a video specifically for it, which is that's a little weird, but whatever. I think I was busy with something, but I have been stuck around that number. But apparently I must have been doing a lot better this year because I got up to 690, and then I said to my brother, hey, if there's anyone in that Discord you're a part of who wants to sub to my channel, that would be very much appreciated. And then he actually did mention me in the Discord that he's a part of, and they ended up getting me to 700 subscribers, so thank you so much. But he did say the catch is that I had to draw Miyamoto from Fate Grand Order, and while I was at it I might as well throw in Mosh, because he liked her. This is according to his testimony, so if it's wrong, blame Nora Vanguard, not me. But I am a sheep of my word, and they got me there, so I agree. And so that is what I decided to draw for my 700 subscriber special. Miyamoto and Mosh from the mobile game series Fate Grand Order. I think it's also an anime. I'm not sure if it's a web game, but I know it's definitely a mobile game. If you were to quiz me on what I know about the Fate series, I would just say it used to be a visual novel, was a lot of salacious moments, and then it got really popular, and then they changed the magic system so that way it would be a little bit more not as salacious, so that way it would be a little bit more easily consumer friendly. Saber, Rin Tosuka, that's it. That's all I really know. I actually did watch Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Work. It wasn't really for me. I did like the animation though. The animation was amazing. It was done by Ufotable, who does Kimetsu no Yaiba and the Tales games cutscenes ever since Exilia. So definitely good animation. I actually go back and watch some of the fights in it, even though I don't know anything that's going on. But that's really all I know about the Fate Stay Night series, or Fate series, whatever you want to call it. I did watch Prisma Collider Ilia, a little bit of that. I think I actually forgot to mention that in my anime watch list. That was a mistake. I didn't like that. That wasn't for me. Definitely not my cup of tea. I did like the fights though. I don't know if Ufotable did the animation for that. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure, so if I'm wrong, someone can correct me. But yeah, Fate Collider Prisma Ilia, definitely not for me. Fate Stay Night wasn't even really my cup of tea outside of the fights, so I don't know anything about it. I do collect a lot of the artwork from it, so when my brother actually said Miyamoto, I'm like, I have no idea who that is, but then when I actually looked her up, I'm like, oh, I know who she is. I have some artwork of her. And then when he said Mosh, I'm like, I had no idea who that was, but then I realized I did know who she was, but I know her by Moshu. I'm not sure if that's because it's her nickname or if that's just how you pronounce her name in Japanese. I think it might be that, if anything, but I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I have a lot of artwork of Mosh Potatoes, because the illustrator Rosary drew her a lot, I guess, when she was released or whatever, and so because of that I have a lot of illustrations saved on my computer, and I actually use those illustrations by Rosary as my reference, in addition to the illustration that Rosary did of Miyamoto. You can't see it because it's popped out on a window that I have OBS programmed not to see, because I don't like to show my references because it does One thing I do use as visual reference is a lot of fan art, and I'm like, I don't want to credit these people, but I feel bad if I don't credit it because it's not my artwork. So I mean, I just like I don't show it. I don't think there's nothing really wrong with it. Because it's not like I'm tracing it. I'm not stealing it. I'm not claiming it as my own. But I could see where some people would get a little antsy by it, so I just save myself the trouble and keep it popped out so you can't see it. Now, so that it also makes the secondary window view visible for you to see. Although sometimes I forget because since the reference sheets are on the right side where my secondary window view is, sometimes I have the window view popped out. I mean, not popped out, but zoomed in so much that you can't actually see it and you can't appreciate it because the entire idea of the secondary window view is so you can see the entire illustration as a whole, and it's supposed to be zoomed out as far as it can so that way you can see it side by side. But sometimes I have it zoomed in too far when you can't see anything. But because the reference sheet is popped out in front of it, I don't actually see it. Even though you're seeing it, I don't see it. So because of that, I don't really realize what I'm doing. Because of that, I end up making mistakes. Like even this is a little too zoomed in for my taste. I would have had it zoomed out a little bit more. Although I would have not had it zoomed out all the way because it's a little harder with wide drawings because I don't want it to be zoomed in too much because then you won't be able to see it all, but I don't want to zoom out too much because then it would be hard to see for a different reason because it would be too far away. I'm hoping I'm talking about this right. My brain is so fried right now. This drawing actually took a lot longer than I expected. I thought I would be able to finish it in a week because it was a relatively easy drawing, and it was. It was actually very relaxing, and despite this being two characters that I had never drawn before, it was very easy. Even with all of Miyamoto's details, and it was very relaxing, but it still took a long time because I had to take a lot of breaks. And one reason why is if you've seen my community post, that is the reasons. I'm not going to talk about it though because I'd rather just discuss happier things, and it's not really a happy reason, but that was one reason why this drawing took a long time. But also it took a long time just because I would be kind of fried in the brain and run out of inspiration. So I just took a lot of breathers, and that's something I definitely recommend as an artist. My own personal opinion is just take a break. If you're stuck and you don't know what to do, just take a break and then come back to your drawing with fresh eyes. I think I've said this a gazillion times. I know I've at least said it 3 times, but it is definitely my personal belief, and which is funny because for the longest time I didn't have that. I always used to try to power through and try to get the drawing out as fast as I could because I tried to do one video a week, and it was just like I can't do this anymore. And it definitely is harder to have this philosophy if you are on a time crunch, because you're doing this for your job and you have a deadline to appease. But personally, I think even if you are on a deadline, I still think you should do this because the time that you take off, like your break time, will be less than the time that you waste trying to figure out what to do because you're just pushing yourself too hard. So that is one thing I definitely recommend as an artist. And it definitely helps, and I did that several times in this drawing. I just took a step back, and like I said, if it was a very fun and relaxing drawing, and if it wasn't for the ever stuff going on in my life, I would actually have done this relatively quick. I think it only took me about like, oh, I don't know, I want to say probably 5-6 hours, could be a little bit longer. I don't think it would be any longer than 10. Probably around 7 if I'm going to be like most accurate. I haven't completely done all the editing, so I don't know how long it took, but I think it would be about that much. But it was it was very fun. And right now I've just been trying to keep myself occupied and such, and make sure I stay busy, because I definitely don't want to stop. And I feel like if I stop, I'm gonna stop for a lot longer than I want. And so because of that, it's just good to kind of keep myself occupied, because this is what's good for me. But anyway, I can't really talk much about I was gonna talk about the characters and such, because that's what I'll do. But this is like when I was drawing Lara Croft. It's like it's hard to draw. It's hard to talk about what I'm drawing about because I don't know anything about them. I will say though that I also have, in addition to just having a lot of generalized art of the Fate series, I specifically have a lot of artwork saved of the summon Anastasia, because she's based off Anastasia from Russian history, and I am a big fan of Anastasia Nikolaeva, and half of it's just no, all of it's because of the Don Bluth movie. I ended up loving that movie as a kid. It's one of my favorites of all time in general, and that ended up getting me into studying the Russian history behind Anastasia. Very interesting, very fascinating, and because of my love for then the historical figure and also the cartoon character, it ended up making me end up liking Anastasia from Fate Grand Order. So I got a lot of art of her and her uh, master. I think I called her a summon. I think they're called servants actually. So she's a servant, and I guess who summoned her is the summoner. I don't know. I don't know, but I think his name is Kardec or something like that, or something similar like that. Anyway, I got a lot of art of them together because that's cute. I like the dynamic. I don't know anything about them, but from what I have seen, I like the dynamic, and I wish she was in the anime. If she was in the anime, I would totally watch her. And if she is in the anime and I'm not aware of it, let me know, because I totally would watch just for that. If she is in the anime, it's probably not enough. For coloring style, I think this is what you would call kind of my base coloring style. I don't really have a specific, I never like to consider myself having a style, but I think this is what's closest to my style, and it's very much based off of a mix between Rosary, Nekarina, and Hananatsu. Although sometimes I like to go for a little bit more of a hentai style. The Illustrator hentai. I keep on mentioning them. On Twitter, amazing artists, and sometimes I will go for more of that, where it's more smoother and a lot more polished and thinner lines, but this is probably the closest thing you would get to a default style for me, which would be a lot more thicker lines and a lot more visible shading. Whereas the Ever style that I try to mimic, which would be like featured in my Revolution Full Color drawing, which I just did, that one is a lot more um, simplistic and minimalized in its shading and a lot more thinner lines. But anyway, that was the drawing. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with this despite everything, and I hope that the people who requested this allegedly like it. And I will be back with another video. I don't know if it will be soon, but hopefully I will be back with another video in a reasonable time. Until then, bye!